Hey guys, welcome back to the DM and Friends. I am DM Angelo, and I'm going to continue my series on NPC classes in Dragon Magazine that came out back in the day. And this one, so this would be my fourth one. So right, and this one's the Deathmaster. And the Deathmaster originally came out in Dragon issue 76, August of 1983, and then it was reprinted in the Best of Dragon Volume 4, which this one, Best of Dragon, came out in May of '85. So this one's going to be a little tough to kind of go through. It literally is five. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of information on the Deathmaster. This class is absolutely bonkers, crazy, but I think it's pretty cool, and I think I can see now that I kind of read through this a couple times. I think I've never personally used it in my game, but I can see the potential for this being a really nasty NPC, or God, I can't even imagine how a player character would. Well, I actually could, but anyway, so this class. I'm going to go through it, and literally I'm just going to go through it chronologically through the article, and kind of summarize stuff. But anyways, yeah, let's get down to it. All right, so the Deathmaster, and it's titled, a mighty nasty magic using NPC, right? And this was originally, this is another one from Leonard Kafka. He wrote this up, and man, it's pretty nasty. So the Deathmaster is a subclass of magic user, right? He will be ultimately chaotic evil, though his early alignment might even be lawful good. So it's really fun. Kind of the first paragraph here, he talks about how the progression can be from any alignment, but the end result as it gets higher level will be chaotic evil. And the Deathmaster will change alignment, moving one step closer to chaotic evil upon gaining every 2 levels of experience. And then he gives an example, which actually the math doesn't add up, but goodness is lost first, then lawfulness, right? So thus the Deathmaster who starts out at lawful good will be lawful neutral at 5th level, which that math doesn't add up, neutral evil at 7th, chaotic evil at 9th, right? So if he's talking about every 3rd level, that math doesn't work. But anyways, digressing. But so eventually, that every 2 levels, that one step closer to chaotic evil. So and that's just I believe, as we read more, it's just how in depth this character, he's just going to end up becoming evil because of some of the practices he does. So anyways, and he goes on and talks about if this downward spiral, no magic, not even a wish can change it, right? So some of the mechanical side, which I love mechanics, obviously we all do. Ability score requirements for non-player characters are as follows: strength of at least 9, intelligence of at least a 15. That's pretty high. Wisdom is always less than a 13. That's pretty funny. Dexterity at least 12, constitution of 14 or better, and a charisma always below an 8. Wow. A human, and I'll try to put some kind of visuals up here for us too. A human, dwarf, or half-orc can become a Deathmaster, and all Deathmasters can advance to 13th level. And it says that no multi-class, no double classing, because of their, they do have some abilities in Alchemist, since many of the magics involve preparation of potion salves and all that. We'll get into that. So talking about continuing on the side of mechanics, Deathmasters can learn to use only the knife, dagger, sickle, scythe, and scimitar. All right. And he goes on about kind of the limitations of magic, the weapons. We don't need to talk about that. You should read more about that if you get a chance, if you can get a copy of this. But what's interesting is in this article, that time the sickle wasn't statted out. So he gives stats for the sickle, which he gives the weight in gold pieces as 15. It kind of goes through that, the size, the speed factor, and all that. And I think this, and it does damage versus armor class like a Bardici. Is that pronounced right? Bardici? Anyways, so I believe Unearthed Arcana published the sickle, I think. I could be wrong. Anyways, so up here, I want to show the, before we get into, so they say they cannot wear armor of any type, but they may use rings and stuff like that for protection, bracers and all that kind of stuff. So before I go any further, I'll put it up here. This is the XP progression. So they have a pretty easy XP track, which is 1333 for level 1 to level 2. They do start at 4 D4 hit die. It's a D4 plus 1, which is interesting, right? And they have titles like Grave Robber, Tomb Haunter, Necrolite, Necropolite. I don't know how that's pronounced, but Skeleton Master, Zombie Master, Ghoul Master, Gas, Shadow Master, Necromancer, Mummy Master, Ghost Master, Lich Master, and at 13th level they become a Death Master, right? So it talks about their use in poison, potions. There's I don't want to get into all this, but basically Deathmaster may employ all potions except those that do control living things, right? That's pretty interesting. They cannot use scrolls except for those penned in the language of death, right? So they have a language of death that they use, or those that control or protect the undead, right? So apparently they have some type of a language that would be written in scrolls, right? So, and then talks about the rings that they could use. I won't get into that. What kind of staffs, and going down the list a little bit. So the Deathmaster begins to learn specific alchemist-like skills at 3rd level and certain specific spells at 4th. His teacher is always another Deathmaster. The Deathmaster must start up his own laboratory for a cost of 400 gold pieces and must pay this amount for new equipment every time he acquires a higher level. Cost for specific, okay, we don't need to talk about the material components yet. So here's where the class gets really interesting, right? So the Deathmaster has the following special powers and abilities, some of which apply to only at a certain level and some which are consistent, right? So this is really interesting here. The 1st level Deathmaster obtain 1 experience points for each grave they dig and 2 experience for each stolen body. It's so dark. 2nd level Deathmaster obtains 2 experience points for every body laid to rest. 3rd level, the Deathmaster obtains 3 experience points for every properly embalmed body. So these guys are pretty like a more, I don't know. Anyways, all Deathmasters can identify a potion of undead control by tasting just a drop. Such a potion has a double effect and double duration when imbued by a Deathmaster, so that's pretty cool. An undead creature must, so this is another ability, check this out. Undead creature must fail a saving throw at 8 to successfully attack a Deathmaster. If the Deathmaster attacks the undead, of course, this partial immunity is overturned, right? Thus, the undead may attack a group of characters. The Deathmaster will be allowed to walk away unharmed, even though a lich, even if it is a lich or a vampire. That's pretty interesting. Beginning at 4th level, right? The Deathmaster can speak with undead at will. This does not create a compulsion to obey, though, right? So they can talk to undead. Beginning at 7th level, they can speak, that's with undead. So at 7th level, the Deathmaster will speak with dead as a cleric of the same level without use of a spell. So this is kind of an internal power that they have, right? Or a class ability. This power is usable once per day and only once on any single body, right? So the Deathmaster has cumulative 5% resistance to sleep, charm spells by a level experience, blah, 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 blah. 9th level and above, the Deathmaster is immune to paralysis and hold spells, including the effects of touch of an undead creature. Wow, so they would be, that makes maybe they're immune to energy drain. Yeah, that might be what they're saying there. At 11th level and above, the Deathmaster is immune to. Oh no, here we go. At 11th level and above, the Deathmaster is immune to level draining and strength draining by undead. Okay, so that's at 11th. Yeah, so okay, so that must be paralysis from a ghoul. It's at 9th level. Okay, so anyways, this is where it gets really crazy, right? So, and I'll put this up here too. The Deathmaster spells, right? So they have a crazy spell list, right? So, and all these spells are, some are from different, magic user spells or possible clerical. Yeah, so if you look at level 1, and a lot of these are new, and they have there's a whole 2 pages just on the spell descriptions, which are pretty crazy. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but I will bring them up over here. So first level spells, right? Animate skeletons all the way down to right. Second level, attract ghouls down to wizard lock. Then you have third level, which is dispel magic down to wall of ice. Fourth level, charm undead, white and weight and wraith white and wraith production. Fifth level, animate. I mean, it's all death stuff. It's really crazy. Sixth level, vampire production. I mean, wow, pretty crazy stuff. I'll go through and read the vampire production section. So vampire production will also produce a specter if the dead master so chooses. The corpse must have been killed by a vampire or a specter, but in a way that would not allow the corpse to rise to one of the undead. The corpse is allowed a saving throw versus spell. The undead will still produce is answerable to the death master for 1 year. I mean, it's kind of like creating these undead servants. So there is a whole section in here which I don't really think I should get into because it's about magic weapons, different magic weapons that I think are new weapons, which are pretty cool, that really work for this class. Things like the Withering Scythe, Eyes of the Undead, Cloak of the Night, Spectre Wand. Hopefully you see them there. Gauntlets of the Ghoul. I mean, there's so much. Yeah. So this class, and then, okay, I was going to jump ahead. I do want to talk about potions and salves and paste. They have a whole, Leonard does a whole section on mechanics of them finding and having correct salves and stuff that they use in their spells. Check that out. I'll put the chart up here. It won't make sense unless you read the article, and it's pretty interesting though. But so he goes into the very final section here is the Henchmen, Hirelings, and Orcus, right? That's what it's titled. The Deathmaster may only have hirelings that are evil. Such henchmen are outcasts of their own races, humans, half-orcs, dwarves only, as well as neutral evil and chaotic evil humanoids, rangers, paladins, clerics, druids, illusionists will never be hirelings. Some chaotic evil tribesmen, tribes of humanoids revere the Deathmaster since he can produce armies of undead types. So that's really interesting. And then it goes on and on, about some, the hirelings. And then it talks about Orcus, which I thought is pretty interesting here. So eventually a Deathmaster becomes a demon worshiper who ultimately worships Orcus. So that tie is pretty interesting for this NPC, right? Such a Deathmaster is also allowed a saving throw of 8 before a lesser demon will attack him physically if a protection of evil spell is not enforced, right? So and then it goes on, a Deathmaster of 13th level who is killed on the feast day of Orcus, sometimes called Halloween, that's pretty funny, will become an undead under Orcus's direction. Some Deathmasters will even commit suicide on that date when they are 13th level, so as to better serve the demon prince, right? So Orcus is 40% likely to notice this action. I mean, their tie with Orcus is pretty deep. Only higher allies, Deathmaster, yeah. So this class I can see this class as being a great adversary to the group. Maybe you know, I just see this potentially as being as a boss NPC or something like that. I can really see them as you know, causing havoc or being part of an army that's creating undead for it, or you know, some kind of weird thing like that. Now, for a PC, it'd be really interesting to run this as a PC, I think, you know, because they could start as good, like it's saying in here, and then as they progress, they just become more and more, you know, away from their original alignment. Uh, excuse me. I think that I think, yeah, I'm thinking the possibilities are pretty interesting. You know, as part of a party, I don't know how you would. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how you could use that in a party. But as a solo game, I think that'd be super awesome. You could probably do that, and then that person just becomes more and more evil. But yeah. So, anyways, I think, to be honest with you, out of all the NPC classes, this one, it's pretty nasty, and I'm kind of daunted by it, like as far as like how I would use it, or where. But I also kind of think this is one of the more complex out of all of them that I've seen so far. You know, and I've kind of reviewed almost all of the NPC classes, but this one is just kind of so, I don't even know the word to describe it. But anyways, so guys, next week I'm gonna jump into the Duelist out of the same mag. I'm gonna talk about the Duelist, which I think is another really great one. But I would like to hear from you guys what you think about the Deathmaster. If you get a chance, because you know, I just breezed over 6 pages of this character class. If you get a chance, check this article out, and tell me what you think. I'd love to hear you guys' experience. Like I said, I've never used them, and that's probably why I feel so like it's kind of a tough one to get through. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys if you ever have come across this. Put it in the comments. All right, you guys. I am DM Angelo. This is the DM and Friends, and you are my friends. All right. Game on. Take care of each other. God bless you. Have a great day. And see you next time. Bye-bye.